Do you believe that every setback in life can actually be setting you up for a powerful comeback? In this video, we delve deep into the wisdom of Buddhism to uncover the profound truth behind every setback being a powerful setup for an even greater comeback. Lesson 1. Acknowledge the setback. Recognizing the loss is the first thing that needs to be done to turn it into a comeback. When we fail, are disappointed, or have lost something important to us, we often avoid facing our feelings. We hide them because we think that time will heal the wounds. But trying to avoid or deny a loss makes our pain worse. An important part of Buddhism is realizing and accepting that pain is a part of life. These events teach us that life is hard, and it's important to understand and accept this. We're not giving up when we admit when we failed. We are instead taking the first step towards learning more about what is going on and getting ready to grow. It takes honesty and bravery to admit when you've made a mistake, that you should look at the situation without blaming yourself or anyone else and just see it for what it is. Being honest lets us take responsibility for our part in the situation, if there is one, without getting stuck in negative thoughts about ourselves. Getting rid of the idea that everything should always go well is another benefit. When we say that we've had a failure, we make room for healing to happen. In the same way that a wound needs to be shown to be healed, we need to recognize our mental wounds before we can move on. Being honest makes things clearer and helps people figure out what went wrong in the first place. In turn, this knowledge makes it possible for a better, more durable comeback. Buddhists believe that everything changes, even bad things. In life, nothing stays the same, and problems don't last forever. When we recognize that our problems are temporary, we start to see that this time of struggle is also temporary. Even when things look the worst, this knowledge gives us hope. Just because you recognize a failure doesn't mean you have to give up. It just means agreeing that it's real. Taking this first step will help you use it as a growing platform. Lesson 2. Think about what you did. After recognizing the loss, the next step is to think about what happened. In Buddhism, thinking about things is a great way to gain understanding and wisdom. When we think about what happened, we can see past the problem's surface level and learn the greater lessons that life is trying to teach us. You shouldn't blame yourself or other people when you think on yourself. Instead, it's about getting a better sense of what's going on. We can start to see trends in our actions or thoughts that may have led to the setback when we think about them. Being aware of these things is very important because it helps us figure out what went wrong and fix it so we can make better choices next time. We can also learn to be compassionate towards ourselves and others when we reflect. In this process, we start to understand that everyone has problems and frustrations in life. This knowledge helps us be more patient and kind to ourselves and to those around us. Ask yourself what you can learn from the loss while you're thinking about it. What is the lesson you need to learn from life? Sometimes, setbacks give us chances to grow as people that we wouldn't have had otherwise. They might teach us how to be strong, patient, or know when to let go of power. Keep an open and curious mind as you think about what you've learned. Don't let bad thoughts or dwelling on the past hold you back. Instead, use this time to get clear and gain understanding. We can turn our pain into knowledge through reflection, and wisdom is the key to a strong comeback. You can find out more about yourself and the deeper facts of your life by thinking about what happened. Internal thought is an important part of growth because it helps you see things from a different angle and see the chances for good change. Lesson 3. Move forward slowly. There are small steps that can be taken forward after the failure has been recognized and thought about. Buddhism stresses how important it is to take action, but it teaches that this action should be carefully thought out and planned. We don't need to move quickly or make big jumps. We can instead take things slowly, one small step at a time. When bad things happen, it's easy to feel like the problem is too big to handle and stop moving forward. We might not know what to do or how to move forward because the future seems unknown. But we don't need to know all the answers right away in order to make a return. We just need to take the next step, no matter how little it is. Every little thing we do is a win in and of itself. These steps can be as easy as making a plan, asking for help, or even just getting up when things are tough. Every little thing we do helps us move forward and get closer to an answer. Buddhism tells us to pay attention to the here and now. We should focus on the present moment instead of thinking about the future or dwelling on the past. How can you make progress today, even if it's only a little? Being aware in this way keeps us grounded and stops us from getting too excited about the big picture. Confidence can also be built up in small ways. Every little thing we do right shows us that we can get through tough situations. Small wins like these can add up over time and lead to big breakthroughs. Non-attachment is another important Buddhist idea. As you take small steps forward, it's important not to get too tied to the results. Don't focus on the end result. Instead, think about how to get there. Believe that if you keep working hard, the path will open up on its own, and your comeback will look different from what you thought it would. Remember that growth doesn't always happen in a straight line. As you start to take small steps, things might go wrong along the way, but that's okay. Every step, whether it's forward or backward, is an important part of the trip. You are setting the stage for your comeback by sticking to your plan to do something, no matter how small. Lesson 4. Be open to change. The idea of changelessness is one of the most important things that Buddhism teaches us. In real life, things are always changing. Nothing stays the same. When we accept this truth, we can become more adaptable, which means we can go with the flow of life instead of fighting it. Life doesn't always go the way we planned, which can lead to setbacks. We might have had certain hopes or expectations, and when they weren't met, it felt like we had failed. But mistakes don't mean we failed. They mean we can learn from them and find new ways to do things. Being adaptable means being able to change with the times. We don't fight the loss or hold on to the way we thought things should be. Instead, we let new options come into play. When we let go of rigid expectations, we make room for new chances and answers to show up. This idea of not caring about specific results is very important in Buddhism. People tell us to stop trying to control our lives and believe that things will work out the way they're supposed to. We can find peace in the middle of change and uncertainty. We learn to adapt. You have to be willing to try new things to be flexible. You haven't failed just because one road didn't work out. It just means we need to look for a better way to move forward. There are often more than one way to be successful in life, and setbacks are just signs that we need to take a different road. When you accept that things can go wrong, you are no longer limited by them. As an alternative, you see them as chances to grow and change. You know that the way to your comeback might not be the same as what you had planned, but that's okay. It's important that you keep going with an open heart and mind. You don't have to give up on your goals or dreams just because things change. It just means being willing to try new ways to reach your goals. You can handle life's challenges with grace and strength if you stay flexible and adaptable. In the end, you can turn your setbacks into strong comebacks. Lesson 5. Think about how much you've grown. It's important to take time to think about your growth as you move forward and make progress. We forget how far we've come a lot of the time when we are focused on getting past problems. Thinking about your progress is not only a great way to keep yourself going, but it also serves as a reminder of how strong and resilient you really are. Being present in the moment and aware of our thoughts, feelings, and experiences is something that Buddhism tells us to work on. This kind of awareness also helps us grow as people. We can see the progress we've made, no matter how small, when we stop to think about our path. Think back to where you were when the loss first happened. What's different about you now? What new strengths, skills, or ideas have you picked up? You can see that setbacks are not the end of the road when you think about your growth. They are part of the path that makes you who you are. There are times when growth is hard to see right away. Other times, it happens in subtle ways. Things about you may not seem different every day, but they do become more clear over time. By thinking about how you've changed, you can recognize the inner change that has happened because of your challenges. Buddhists put a lot of weight on the idea that things change and are not permanent. Not only are setbacks short-term, but so is the person you were before the mishap. Your life is always changing, and every event helps you grow as a person. You can be thankful for the things you've learned along the way by thinking about how you've changed. Setbacks are painful, but they often lead to wisdom and ideas that are worth a lot. When you realize how much you've grown, the loss stops being something that held you back and starts being seen as something that helped you grow. This thought about growth also gives you the strength to face new difficulties with more confidence. You have the strength to handle anything that comes your way when you realize that you have already been through hard times and grown because of them. Every setback is a chance to grow, and having this attitude is important for turning every defeat into a chance to make a comeback. Lesson 6. Make a plan for getting better. Making a recovery plan is one of the most useful things you can do to turn a loss into a comeback. A structured plan can help you make steady progress by giving you clarity and direction. It's important to accept the setback, think about what happened, and take small steps forward. In Buddhism, giving conscious, deliberate effort to make things better is called right effort. A healing plan helps you focus your efforts on what you need to do. It's a plan that shows you the steps you need to take to move on, rebuild, and make your comeback. Start by making goals that are reasonable and doable. These goals should be clear, attainable, and in line with your long-term goals and beliefs. For instance, if your failure was because of a problem at work, your recovery plan could include tasks like updating your resume, picking up new skills, or making connections with people who work in the same field as you. You should also be able to take steps in your healing plan that will help you reach your goals. For each goal, break it down into smaller jobs that you can do regularly. This will keep you from getting too stressed out and help you keep your mind on making steady progress. Remember that getting over a failure isn't just about what you do for other people. It's also about taking care of your own health. Set aside time for things that make you happy, calm, and relaxed, like yoga, meditation, or just being outside. Buddhism says that life is best when it is balanced. You should make sure to take breaks and think about your healing plan while you're working on it. You can get burned out if you push yourself too hard, and if you don't work towards your goals, you'll make less progress. Get in a good rhythm so you can keep moving forward while also taking care of yourself. There is no such thing as a set plan for healing. It's an adaptable guide that you can change as you go. You might need to change your plan as you reach your goals and learn from your mistakes. This is because your wants and priorities will change over time. Always be willing to change and adapt, and have faith that your comeback will happen when it's time. Lesson 7. Make it a habit to think about things every day. The last thing you can do to turn losses into comebacks is to make it a habit to think about things every day. Self-reflection and being present are very important to Buddhists for spiritual and human growth. You can stay in touch with your inner self, track your progress, and keep growing even after you've overcome a setback if you think every day. Thinking about your plans and goals helps you stay focused on them. In this way, you can see if you are following your recovery plan and making work towards your comeback. If you find that you've lost your way or run into new problems, daily thought gives you a chance to fix things and get back on track. This habit also helps you become more grateful. By thinking about the good things that happen during the day, you can value the little wins and happy times that you might otherwise miss. Being thankful is a strong way to fight negativity and keep a positive attitude, even when bad things happen. Buddhism says that becoming enlightened takes time, and that growing as a person takes a lifetime. You are committed to continuous self-improvement and mindfulness when you make reflection a daily habit. This practice not only helps you get over failures, but it also makes you smarter and more resilient for future problems. Every day, whether it's in the morning, before bed, or during a quiet time during the day, make time to think. This habit will become second nature to you over time, and you'll find that it helps you handle the ups and downs of life with more grace and understanding. Everything that goes wrong in life can be used to make a comeback possible. You can turn problems into chances for personal growth and success by recognizing the failure, thinking about what happened, taking small steps forward, being open to change, thinking about your growth, making a recovery plan, and making it a habit to think about things every day. Buddhism tells us that life is a journey with both happiness and sadness, but that it is through facing and getting through problems that we find our real strength and resilience.